Good afternoon. Now, the government will in the next financial year give an extra 20 million shillings to excelling Emyooga groups and savings and credit cooperative organizations, Saccos, across the country. Now, these additional funds are meant to boost the seed capital for the beneficiaries. In the recent past, the State Minister for Finance, Planning and Economic Development, Haj Haruna Kasolo Cheyune, said that he has been directed by the President to give out additional funds to groups that have adhered to the program guidelines. The minister said the success of Emyooga is measured by the repayment and savings level of beneficiaries. Now, to date, a total of 6,813 Emyooga Saccos are fully registered across the country, and 231 billion shillings have been dispersed. According to the Microfinance Support Center, 554,003 billion shillings have been mobilized in savings by the end of 2021. Now, with me in studios, I have the spokesperson of the Microfinance Support Center, Mr. James Muhwezi. We have Mr. Kenneth Ntege from Mukono District Commercial Officer. We have Mr. Atweta Abdallah Wahab, the board chair, Mbarara City North Producer Dealers. Now, this program is powered by the Microfinance Support Center, celebrating 20 years of financial inclusion. I'm Andrew Chamagir, and you can be part of this conversation on the different platforms, that's Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Good afternoon.
It is very exciting to have this conversation of Emyooga. For starters, we are finalizing a financial year, and I will start off with you, James, from the Microfinance Support Center. We need to understand the services of the Microfinance Support Center, and let's look at the impact of the Emyooga, the story and the coverage so far. How are we holding up?
Thank you very much, and thank you for having me this morning, this afternoon.
Yes.
Greetings from the Microfinance Support Center.
Oh, we will see the greetings.
We are busy concluding the financial year, but the Emyooga still goes on, still expanding, and more are embracing the program. It is getting better and better every day. So the Microfinance Support Center has got a rich mandate, too rich than what probably people understand. And I think that is the reason why we are here today, to expound and talk to the public about the rich package the Microfinance Support Center has. Microfinance Support Center has a mandate of ensuring that the Ugandans, active poor Ugandans, access financial services, affordable financial services.
Keyword affordable.
Affordable financial services. And probably what differentiates us from other lenders, private lenders, private commercial lenders, is that we provide affordable financial services with education. And I think you have seen it so much in Emyooga. We do not only give seed capital, but we accompany the provision of seed capital with training and advisory and technical assistance and capacity building. That is what differentiates the Microfinance Support Center as a government agency mandated to manage its microcredit funds to support Ugandans. But we have got a rich history. You talked of what services, 20 years of financial inclusion. What does it mean for the Microfinance Support Center, and where are we so far? But before I go there, I would like to explain what financial inclusion is. What is financial inclusion, and how does an ordinary Ugandan understand it? Financial inclusion, in the simplest of the terms, would mean that an ordinary Ugandan, especially the rural and urban poor Ugandans, these are the people who need our finances, our services most. The ordinary Ugandan who wants to do business can easily access a broad range of quality and affordable financial services to secure their financial security. We talk of financial security now. How? If they accessed quality and affordable financial services, they went to the farm, they went to the shop, they would make money, they would save the money, they would invest and create more wealth. By so doing, you have secured your financial security.
As an individual.
As an individual. Collectively, of course, the benefits are amplified. So that's what we talk about, financial inclusion. And that's what we have done for the last 20 years and more, as I'm going to explain. 1994, Microfinance Support Center's intervention started then with a program called Poverty Alleviation Project, PAP. This program was one of the unique projects that was designed in a close consultation with the community. What do you want government to do? And government did it as part of its continuing efforts to eradicate and reduce poverty among communities. What do you want us to do? If we are to bring a program, how would you want such a program to appear, to be like? What would be the major components?
The crafting was inclusive.
The crafting, it was totally inclusive, consultative, through a participatory approach. So 1994 to 98, we ran that program, and the key components of the program were very simple. One was an ordinary Ugandan, again, is able to access credit and savings facilities. Can you imagine? Here we are talking of
and save.
Credit and save. Those were the two major components, but all geared towards poverty reduction.
Yeah.
Now that is one. For 4 years, 5 years, we ran that program successfully. And we want to thank the African Development Bank because it is the one that injected in money and supported government of Uganda to implement that program. So when it ended, the benefits were too huge to just leave it there. So government of Uganda went back to the African Development Bank and sought more funds for a successor program, which was the Rural Microfinance Support Program. That one ran from 1999 to 2008. That program was supposed to be a scale-up program, but consolidating the gains we had in PAP, and you know, contributing to economic development, poverty reduction through job creation and wealth creation. But there were three major components of that program, within that program. The first component, again, was increased credit facilities and savings mobilization among the rural poor communities, especially women. The focus was always women. And youth. The second component was, we are not only going to talk of credit facilities and savings mobilization. As you know, these require some kind of mindset change. So a component of institutional capacity building and advisory also came in. So credit facilities, savings, and capacity building. Now the third, which is very interesting for our discussion today, was establishment of the Microfinance Support Center. That was 1999 to 2009. And that is why then in 2001, Microfinance Support Center starts. So, but before the Microfinance Support Center starting in 2001, there's another interesting thing that the viewers would want to know. Remember, I talked of 1994, 1999. But in 1995, government introduces another important program called Prosperity for All. Prosperity for All had 4 pillars. The first pillar, the pillar of production. And I want to thank the president of this country because from the time I have known him, since he came to power, he has always talked of increased production, do not only consume, increase so much, consume and sell. That message, 1995, was pronounced in that program. So the recognition of increased production, so where do you put the excess production if you don't consume it?
In the market.
In the market was there. And that is when the component of value addition came. Yeah, you are going to produce so much. So where do you put the excess?
You have to
add value
and put it
wait for the market, wait for the right kind of price.
Thank you, James. Given that entire background, I want to come to you, Wahab. Given that you come from Mbarara and you're board chair of the Mbarara City North Producer Dealers Sacco, I want to understand, in a brief statement, the strength of your Sacco. How, when you started, how many are you, and how much money did you start with, and where you are today? Just in a minute.
Thank you very much, moderator. Our dear viewers, good afternoon. I'm called Abdul Wahab Atweta, board chairman, Mbarara City North Produce Dealers Sacco. The leading
keyword there is produce.
Yes,
dealers.
produce dealers. Emyooga Sacco. It is one of the best performing Saccos in the country, in the category of Emyooga. Mbarara City North, it is located nearby City North Division headquarters. And we started in 2020 in the program of Emyooga. It is entirely Emyooga. Most people, when they reach there, they think it started earlier.
Way back
yes.
Emyooga.
Then the Emyooga came and supported the program. But I'm telling them that no, it's because of the leadership of Microfinance Support Center, of the government through the RDCs and the commercial offices, and the leadership of the Sacco committees that have influenced that to that level.
That you're the best in the country.
Yes, among the best.
Among the best, yes.
The country, but the best in the other region. So we started with 160 groups or associations with the parish mobilization of associations. Those associations were trained. After we formed the Sacco, we elected Sacco leaderships, and people started saving.
How much were they saving for starters?
Before receiving the CD capital, we had saved 24 millions.
Whoa.
Then
before the seed capital
before the CD capital.
Wow.
Sacco members, they managed to save 24 million. Then the 30 millions from Microfinance Support Center came in as a CD capital.
It was a boost.
It was a boost to 54 million. As I talk now, the cumulative savings of Mbarara City North Produce Dealers Sacco, they are over 300 millions.
Wow. In a space of how many years?
In a space of 1.5 years.
Wow.
Yes.
That's critical leadership there.
With that, we have net savings currently at 54 million with share capital of 17 million, over 17 million. With the so far the current associations, they are standing at 173 associations. You see, there is
a
slight increment.
Yes, of associations training.
And the increment can tell our dear viewers that it is a symbol of the service delivery which is effective within the Sacco.
Yeah.
And we hope for more. We have managed to do that through trainings, through guidance, because one of the most critical issues that has been stopping our people, or the dear viewers, the community members, the other end user of Emyooga, it's because he has been unable to grasp the content of Emyooga.
The concept. To understand it better, yeah.
From the start, locals expected Emyooga to be a Thanksgiving in a political line, because the program came in the political season.
That's true.
So they thought it is the appreciation token to go and buy clothes. Some they thought of marrying and so on. But now we have started changing their mindset with the aid of Microfinance Support Center.
Thank you so much, Wahab. Wahab leads one of the critical key Emyooga Saccos around the country, and he comes from the West, and he says that in 1 year and a half, they're in position to have a tune of 300 million Ugandan shillings. The leadership and the critical element of understanding the concept of Emyooga, it's remarkable there. Mr. Ntege, you coming from Mukono here. Mukono is very close, and Mukono is it's my birthplace. My judge comes from Namuluge, so I'm very close to you.
Down there.
Down there, just very close to you. So Ntege, how can we as a generation understand money? And the responsibility around the money earned, because we are in a generation that is entitled, and I think that's where Wahab says that we thought it was just to be given. It's a token, give and take and go do whatever you want to do with it. Now, from your understanding, how do we draw the line between money and the responsibility that follows it. Then two, I want again you to fuse this with the bad and the good habits of savings. Because some people learn from Emyooga to save, but again, immediately they save the money, they eat the money again. They don't reinvest it. And I'm sure this is one of the elements that has kept Mukono in one or the other among the best there.
Okay. Thank you, viewers. Thank you, Arnold, for hosting us today. I would like to begin with a simple statement. The truth is that money does not grow on trees.
That's true.
So at the moment you understand that, then you'll be able to take the next course of action. Two, you should actually take 100% responsibility of yourself. Whether you went to school
or not,
whether you did not go to school. Issues to do with the money, they don't require for any person to be genius. That's why you always find people who have a lot of money, they have very little books.
Yeah.
So what does it mean? When it comes to issues of money, we should actually strive to know the importance of being financially secure. Because if that one is not there, issues will happen. Even the homes will not be there. There will be a lot of quarreling. Children will not go to school. You will not even eat the right meals. So in this perspective, I would like to thank the government of Uganda and the Microfinance Support Center and the rest of other government agencies that are working closely to ensure that this government program is a success, because any program that comes is an addition of the other. So on the side of the local government, for us, our role, we are at the implementation wing. If cabinet, if parliament, it puts a budget, it is our duty as a local government to ensure that we do our part such that people are able to benefit from these government programs. Take an example of the office of the RDC, the office of COW, the political leaders in their respective categories, right from LC 1 up to local council 5. We have a huge duty to educate communities. Because at times, by the way, there is a certain section of Ugandans who are not embarrassed. In any given situation there, you can find somebody celebrating. For me, I was born to be like this. And it is not proper. So we have the duty and the responsibility as a local government to ensure that we play our technical role.
Now, right there, Mr. Ntege, I've seen scenarios where leaders, local leaders, councillors, women councillors, when they're called for some trainings, that actually attribute what Wahab here is saying with regards to mindset change. Councillors want to be paid allowances for these programs that are meant to trigger the change or the development in their communities. How are you at the district level dealing with this kind of pedestrian mindset and thinking?
Okay, I would ideally say that there is nobody in the world who doesn't want anything for free. But you should also be very careful. Just imagine if they have called you in a meeting to be trained on farming, on bookkeeping, on managing your business, on using your money wisely. And you set a condition that for me, I can only learn if I have been paid. Maybe transport refund, maybe I've been given it per diem and the likes. For me, I would ideally say what is extraordinarily important is for people to understand the core issue as to why you have been called in the training. So the issues to do with the money, at times it comes out of excitement. And the people have adopted behaviors that in one way or the other are reasonable, but cannot be tolerated at certain instances. And that's why you find a lot of jokes. I can only attend that training if I've been given money. But nevertheless, not all leaders are like that. There are those ones that are extraordinarily serious, that when it comes to issues of changing communities, we work together. For us in Mukono, ideally, taking a case of Mukono district, my leaders are very sober, My leaders are very stable. All leaders at different categories. Many of them have really embraced government programs, especially this program of Emyooga. We are working with them together, and many of them have actually gone down in the communities to sensitize, even when the technical people are not with them, because they know if they don't roll this program out, the burden will be on them. People will come and ask for school fees. People will come and ask for ABCD. So this issue of mindset for the leaders, a biggest percentage now in Uganda, they have appreciated that when the government programs come, we have to work together. It is our civic duty to make sure that we propagate it and the people get it.
Key word is civic duty there.
Yes.
This brings me back to you, James.
Yeah.
When you listen to all these, the little bit of fragments here and there of mindset change and misunderstanding of the Emyooga concept, how is the Microfinance Support Center making sure that where there are fragments of ignorance, we go back and we cultivate these mindsets again, and then we put the seed of understanding, we give the tool sets. I'm grateful about the ones in Mbarara, but they're in position to get all these trainings and, you know, the capacity building that can be much more critical to move the conversation further to the last mile.
Thank you so much, Andrew, and thank you, our colleagues and partners, for sharing. I want to pick it from the issue of savings.
Yes.
You know, what I want to share with the viewers dates back to 2004. The World Conference on Trade and Development. In 2004, the UN World Conference on Trade and Development in 2004 emphasized in their meeting that in order to increase any country capital, you must increase savings.
Yeah.
And when savings are increased, countries that are increasing savings at a higher rate have been seen to also increase their economic development. Their GDPs have increased and etc. And they give examples of those small countries like Kosovo and all that kind of stuff. So it is very key. So what has Microfinance Support Center done to address these gaps in the implementation of the important program, Emyooga program?
Emyooga, yes.
First of all, as an update, so far we have trained over 1.3 million members of associations, Emyooga associations. As of April, we have trained over 2022, over 1.3 million. We have also trained over 34,000 leaders of Saccos. But we are not doing it alone. Where did we start? We started by training all technical, commercial, and community development officers in the districts. All members of task forces were trained. To be exact, we trained 2,809 leaders across the country. Why were we doing that? Because we wanted sort of an infrastructure through which knowledge would then flow from the Microfinance Support Center, from government to the last person. We have not only done that, we have established a local technical support infrastructure comprised of 313 technically trained people who are now going down to train Emyooga Saccos and associations. And I think our leader here of the Sacco may have interfaced with them. Quite often, it's not one-off, they keep going there. If there's any technical gap to address, they address it. Internally, we have also established 54 client relations officers who are in touch with the 313 and the leaders and the commercial officers and community development officers to receive the complaints, to receive the gaps, and our officers go and support them. Yeah, so this is some of the things that we are doing. We have developed a manual, a training manual,
That's where it was coming.
and made it so simplified. And now we are in the process of translating it into local languages. Yeah.
And about that very same one, before we actually leave languages, how is Microfinance Support Center making sure that the Emyooga information is actually covering even those with the disabilities, with impairments?
I think we are working with all stakeholders. Ministry of Gender, we're bringing it on board. We are working Ministry of Trade. We are working with the media. I think this is part of the effort. And all stakeholders really are going to be involved in making sure that the messages reach all beneficiaries. Because as you know, the disabled people who cover the category you have talked about is part of the Emyooga program. So we bear that in mind as we develop the tools for education to make sure that everyone at the end of the day receives the information in its right form.
Adequate and timely.
Adequately and timely.
Well, thank you so much. The conversation we're having, it's about the Emyooga financial inclusion. And this conversation today, we are looking at the role of Emyooga in ensuring effective financial inclusion as a country. Wahab, what are some of the projects has your Sacco so far handled, and you feel that yes, here we delivered? I'm proud of our Sacco. As a region, we are leading because we held this project, and possibly it gave you a different kind of experience, but not only that, it gave you much more capacity to leverage on, to take on more projects.
Thank you very much. Among the projects so far, the project that we started with from the start is sensitization on savings campaign. We have sensitized, we have 13 wards within Mbarara City North constituency, and so far we have covered 9 wards from the start. And the training that we do, we go village per village. And I want to appreciate the local leaders, the area councillors. We have combined efforts with them to make sure that they mobilize their electorates to come for trainings.
And how is the turn-up like? Are they coming up through?
Well, the turn-up is good because people, they are now aware that Emyooga is the only way to go to be above the poverty line. Therefore, with the combined efforts, we have managed to achieve that to the level that you're seeing where we are for savings. People have gained trust in the institution because we are giving back to them through the trainings and the capacity sensitization. That's one of the projects that we are doing. Another project, we are doing a serious project, or we can call it produce stores.
Yeah, because you're produce dealers.
Yes, produce dealers. Last year, you know what happened when Kenya
about the maize.
About the maize, when they stopped our maize, and I was more attached to that concern, and I promised my people in Mbarara City North that we are going to emphasize the issue of quality. We have our local people who could harvest their maize, they could harvest beans, they put it in the store, whereby goats, they are staying in there in the same room. But this time, we are saying no. If you are the group, can you form one store within, let's say, trading center, or you get one of the home, or it's a home of the chairperson or treasurer, then we grade that room, we put there where you can put your sacks of beans or rice.
For safe storage.
For safe storage. So we have managed that, but our focus is to have a warehouse
that can address the aflatoxins and all.
Exactly. Why do we want to have a warehouse? It's because we want to maintain the quality within the constituency and outside
the constituency.
Yes, the whole region. You see, we have cooperatives. You know, Bugisu Coffee Cooperative, Ankore farmers. We have coffee marketing boards and so on. So this time, we want to have a produce cooperative entirely for cereals and grains, so that we'll be in a position. Yes, we'll be in a position to export, to have bargaining on places and so on.
As a block.
As a block.
Nice.
So that the other single producer can produce his or her 10 sacks of rice, then he's able to bring in the warehouse. He can be free to store until the price is favorable.
Oh.
So that is one of the projects, and we have given it only 4 years.
To have a warehouse.
To have a warehouse.
Mr. Antega, we need to visit Mbarara one of these days, possibly to
definitely we have to. We have, and I trust him.
Yes.
I trust him.
When you look at all this, he speaks from the context of we. There is a team of unity with all that I'm hearing. When it gets to us, the youth of this generation, let's talk about financial goals. Ntege, from where you sit and stand as a district financial officer, do Ugandans understand financial goals? And if yes, they understand, where do we have leakages and how do we fix them?
Okay. Thank you so much, Andrew. For me, I would actually begin by saying we all must understand that we need money. Just imagine, Andrew, if you don't have money.
Oh, Lord.
You would be here.
Don't say tongues are very strong.
So the whole issue is we all need money. Why? Because
it's an enabler.
It's an enabler. Even if you have food, enough food at home, you will need to buy shoes.
Yeah, true.
I can imagine, look at your shoe. It's a very expensive shoe. You need money. Secondly, you need school fees for the children. Thirdly, you need salt. etc. So we must hold the issue of money as delicate as you can imagine. But money doesn't come from air. One, you should be able to invest, but where are you going to get the money to invest? So saving and investment move together. In tandem, yes. Whether you are youth, whether you are an elder, whether you are who, the issue of savings and investment, we must not take them lightly.
Before you leave here, Mr. Ntege,
yes,
can you emphasize more on something to do with investment? Because I think that's where the problem is.
Yes.
We have a couple of Ugandans who say, oh, I've saved this much money on an account. As a Sacco, we have this much money. Yes. But we are not sure on what are we investing in. Wahab is lucky because they have produce. They know what they're investing in. That as producers will need a warehouse. As producers will need to have a quality standards management system of our produce and all that. But when it gets to the youth of the country, especially even those in Emyooga, when it gets to issue of investment, how do we go around that, Ntege?
Okay, the first thing we need to appreciate is knowledge is power.
True.
That's why it is advisable before you commit your money to any investment, make it land, make it a hardware, make it a school, make it a restaurant, make it a sewing machine,
information,
make it a border information is very key.
Yeah.
So I advise that you, the person intending to invest the money, you should look for the technical aspect of the knowledge. How much money do you need? Do you have a business plan in place? Do you have enough land where you're going to work from, in the case if you want to invest in dairy, and such things? So the first thing you need to commit yourself to is learning. Ideally, Ndugu James has called it extending financial literacy, extending business knowledge to people, such that people can invest money when they have got enough knowledge. Because it is very easy, Andrew, for you to get money. And they say, tomorrow I am opening up a shop on Kampala Road. But there are so many factors
you need to consider.
You need to consider.
Yeah.
Will you afford the rent? But the three basic things I would dwell on. One is having the knowledge. You must think through that business idea. You must cook it very well. The bad or the good thing in Uganda, our businesses normally start abruptly. Somebody wakes up, it's a vibe, and somebody's already in a taxi, and by luck, it works. Yes. But that's not the way to go.
There is no serious business strategic model.
Yes. But however it is in the modern world, or in the development world, any idea where you intend to invest money. Like the way how you see these 18 categories of Emyooga. Government thought about them before they actually even they were rolled out. And why do you think they are 18? They could have been 20, they could have been 30.
There was a thought process.
There was a thought process. A few samples, a few, maybe until when government discovered that, okay, people can manage to work, but they don't have capital. So what do we do? Let government provide capital, microfinance support center take over, let the technical staff at the district and MSC take over the amount of training these people, such they know where they are going to invest the money. So training becomes the key if it comes to issues of investment.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, Ntege, you've actually made it much more elegant. I'm back to you, James, here. Let's talk about the overall performance of Emyooga in terms of job creation, performance trends, savings mobilization. Paint for us a picture as a country. How are we holding up?
Super. We are, like I said in the beginning, we are moving, and we need everyone to move with us. The intended categories who are still not embracing the program should get on board, and we move. I wanted also to remind the viewers that one of the objectives of the Emyooga was to sharpen the entrepreneurial skills and capacity. Did you hear our brother talking of building a warehouse to address issues of quality?
Yeah.
This is exactly what Emyooga is about. And that was the core objective. Savings, mobilization was the core objective. Like I said, all the anti-poverty alleviation programs we have been implementing as MSC, the thread across all of them has been savings mobilization. So he talked about it, sharpening the entrepreneurial skills, increasing quality of whatever you do to target the local market and regional markets. That is the gist of the Emyooga program. And we are doing that. But to be specific on the performance, as of April, I gave the statistics on training. But as of April, we have financed 6,642 Emyooga Saccos. They have consumed over 284 billion shillings. And you know the model for Emyooga, we are a wholesale lender, so we lend. No, we give seed capital to Emyooga Saccos. And the Emyooga Saccos are expected, and they are already doing it, to lend to their member associations, enterprise-based associations. And they have done. So we have given 6,642, but the 6,642 have given 6,142 associations.
There is a ripple effect that is heavy.
There is serious disbursements going on, and those are the ones which have disbursed. They have disbursed over 194 billion. So 284 given out to Saccos, and Saccos also, in turn, lent to their members 194.
Wow.
So the speed is high. And how many associations have benefited? Over 56,000 associations.
Nationwide.
Nationwide. Now, these people, remember the selection for these categories were for people who are already doing business.
But they just needed a push.
They just needed a boost.
A structured push.
A structured push, a concerted push, a unified push, and a focused push. That's why we have all these key stakeholders in government supporting the program, and we are moving together with the guidance of the minister. We are moving together. And let me also give the figure on savings mobilized across the country. Cumulative savings. 63 billion.
Cumulative.
Yes. 63 billion shillings. Remember the program when it started? He can tell you when they received the first seed capital. It is less than 2 years.
He says in 1 year and a half.
In 1 year and a half, we have managed to mobilize 63 billion.
Wow.
So the topic for us today, financial inclusion.
Yeah, the ones who have actually gotten into the money.
20 years of financial inclusion for MSC. The question for the viewers was, is it possible for an average, normal, rural Ugandan to save? The figures are speaking now.
Yeah.
The answer is,
it is very possible. I want us to look at those figures in tandem with the Islamic banking model, Islamic financing, and as what they call the leg as well.
Yes.
How are they working? Do they clash at one time, or do they embrace one another?
Oh, these programs are totally complementary. And when you have got an enemy that you are trying to fight, and an enemy is very strong, you do not need one hand. I think our the older generation used to do it very well. They would call and sound an alarm that people, there is something here, please come. And that is what government is doing to bring as many programs as possible to fight this enemy called poverty. So the issue for this Emyooga is that we have identified the categories. The people have embraced. Initially it was slow, of course.
Yeah.
There was a takeoff because of the increased sensitization across the country, the increased training, mindset change, and people embraced. As we speak, like I said, we did not pick people from the street. They were already doing business, but they needed a push. Close to 2 million people have benefited from this program. 1.916, that is close to 2 million. And then in terms of the jobs created so far, people are working meaningfully. That is
value addition,
whatever, that is close to 1,956,000 jobs created, which you can verify. As you, when you go to the field, you verify that these are people actively working. And the majority are still coming on board.
Wow.
The other thing I want to mention quickly is that because of the confidence, you talked of the Islamic microfinance.
The Islamic finance model.
Islamic finance model, I was talking of the poverty alleviation prosperity for all, which was 1995.
95 years.
1997 we had PIP, it went, but 2010 we started implementing a program, Islamic finance-based program, called Rural Income Enhancement and Employment Project. It's called RIP. That program, if I could give you quick facts about that program, we supported, let me get my RIP here, 2010-2015, 101 Sharia compliant projects were financed.
Compliant.
Sharia, because you know,
of course, you have
it's
to
governed by.
Yes, it's Islamic.
So 101 Sharia compliant projects were financed in 5 years, 2010 to 15. How many jobs did we create? Rural beneficiaries reached, first of all, were close to 456,000. 456,000. Jobs created, 1.2 million jobs in 5 years. So this was an Islamic-based project. You said, do they clash? They don't clash. We only enhance our capacity to support Ugandans through these programs.
Makes sense.
And because it was a success rate of about 82%, in 2015, MSC pioneered fully now, formally, the Islamic financing program in the country. And so far, we are still doing very
working
well.
Together.
Yeah.
That sounds great. Wahab, as we are getting a little bit to the end of the program today, ever since you've seen this tremendous change among your members in the Sacco, have you registered some, social changes with regards to mindset, the direction where it's going? And given that all this falls directly into the NDP3, do you see your people understanding the direction the country is going to with regards to financial inclusion and bringing more people into the money economy?
Thank you very much. The answer is yes. People have appreciated. They have already gained trust and confidence in this program.
But you see their lives changing day to day.
You see, our end goal is to target an individual.
It's not a group, an individual.
An individual. Remember, there are the individuals that come up and form a group. So whatever that is got from the group, it ends up benefiting a unit, individual, or a household. So people have changed their lives. For example, we have our producers who used to move around the village collecting kilograms of beans, of rice, because they had little capital. They could use cups. They buy using cups. But this time, after receiving a fund, a loan facility from the Sacco, which is purely affordable and very quickly to access,
There is not too much paperwork.
Not too much paperwork, because the percentage of the interest rate of this program is 8% per annum.
Better than the one from the bank?
Yes, 8%. That's why we thank President Museveni and the NRM government. Really, they are focusing at transforming the society, at securing our future. As the other time when we were in politics, what we used to say as a slogan, to secure our future. I believe that all Ugandans have started seeing that the efforts they're aiming at securing the future. 8% per month, it is 0.67. So
that's very affordable.
I was telling you about my grandmother in Rwenjeru, who has been using the cups to buy cups 1,000. Then after reaching 20 kilograms, she takes it to Kizungu, to the stores. But this time, after receiving a loan of 5 millions as a group, of 2 millions, of 500,000, now she has started using buying in sacks. And now she's having capacity to keep that sack, 100 kilograms of beans, and store it for like 2 months, 3 months.
When the prices are fair.
Yes, when the prices are favoring, she takes to the market for sale, then she brings back the money.
Wow.
I want to tell you that most people under produce dealers Sacco, and what I'm speaking is not only for produce, but it is entire Emyooga program. Yes, people have benefited. Those that have analyzed, understood the program, they have utilized it well. But I can't fail to caution
the naysayers,
those ones, my fellow leaders in communities who received the funds, and they are used of the many programs of government, starting with the Ntandikwa, NADS, so on and so on.
Wealth creation.
People could receive, you see, in NADS, I used to tell my people, the other side, that part of my school fees came from NADS program.
Just like that Catholic program. What was it called? The one that educated, Send a Cow? That educated very many people?
Yes, because how did it educate me? My mother was the beneficiary. She received one goat, mushere, we call it mushere. So that goat could produce, then I could get school fees too.
Oh, to go to school.
Yes, that's why I appreciate for all the government programs, and I ensure say that this program is paramount to elevate, to transform community from poverty to prosperity.
Okay, this question goes to you, James. Someone here says that I am a chairman of Emyooga Association. I'm worried that in the financial year 2022-2023, we shall not get money from the government. Parliament refused to pass some billions of money for Emyooga. Some clarity there.
Thank you for the question. The Emyooga program, like I said, is moving on. We want to appreciate the support from government that we have had so far, because government has supported us to reach where these figures, we have reached these figures because of the support of government, because of the leadership of the Minister, Honorable Kasoro Haruna Cheine. So the program is moving on. He should not be worried. The only issue that we want to communicate on this program today is about embrace savings so that you can access more capital. I could break down for you the figures we have for savings right now.
That will be another day. But for now, as you're wrapping this up, tell me about what the MSC is doing to promote the savings culture.
That's exactly what I wanted to say, actually.
Okay.
Savings broken down per region. Central, 31%. We are still leading.
Okay.
Eastern, 28%. We have Western, 27%. We are leading. And then Northern, 14%. What does this mean? That we need to increase the level of savings.
And how are we going to do that?
And how we are going to do that? MSC on 28th of March, 29th of Feb, we started the savings challenge.
Okay.
And this savings challenge is specifically for Emyooga Saccos.
Okay.
It is very simple. We have broken the Emyooga Saccos to industry, A, B, C, D, E. The first category is agriculture, which has women entrepreneurs, market vendors, and produce dealers and restaurant owners. The second category is transport, border borders and taxi riders, of course. The third one is artisans, where we have carpenters, welders,
artists,
mechanics, saloon operators, and tailors. Then we have special interest groups, where we have the PWDs, and then we have elected local leaders, youth leaders, veterans, and we have fishermen. The last one is arts. Arts, that is where we have the performing artists and journalists. So it is very simple. All our branches across the country, microfinance support centers branches, Kabale, Kampala, Mbarara, Jinja, Masaka, Arua, Moroto, Fort Portal, Hoima, Rira, Soroti, Mbale.
Okay.
And other satellite offices. All of them carry the forms for you Emyooga Saccos to participate in this Emyooga Savings Challenge. So please go to our branches, pick these forms. Remember there is a deadline, which is 7th of September. So you pick the forms, fill them. Our people will guide you, the officers will guide you on how to fill, return them, we evaluate them. And then in October, we are going to have a gala. It's going to be a huge gala. The grand finale
of the Savers Challenge.
Of the Savers Challenge, Emyooga Savers Challenge, Saccos Challenge, where the winners are going to get prizes for savings. Please do not fail to participate in this challenge.
Well, there you have it. That is James Samuhwezi, who happens to be the spokesperson from the Microfinance Support Center. Let me be very blunt with you, my fellow Ugandan. Change is singular. You decide the change you want to see and you participate. You are in Emyooga Sacco. Be a part of this Emyooga Sacco's Savings Challenge. Go to their different offices around the country in your district. Make sure you register. Be a part of the beneficiaries, that when we get to October, before you celebrate your Independence Day, or shortly after you've celebrated your independence as a country, you're one of those who will actually stand tall. Like I've said, you can play around and you can have a whole lot of blame games, but change is singular. You want to be part of the development of this country, go join a Sacco today, understand the dynamics, go get the technical advice in one way or the other, and the leaders. Let's be the real leaders who want to see the change in our community. I'm Andrew Chamagedo. This program was powered by the Microfinance Support Center. Good afternoon.